Billy Moore, good morning to you, mate.
Hello, boys. Pleasure to be on the show.
Cheers, Billy. Hey, one thing, okay, that's the Melbourne Cup that Paddy's talking about. I was thinking about the Noosa Tri. Are you a triathlon man or just a marathon man? And did you have a go this year?
Just a marathon man, mate. I swim like a brick.
Yeah.
And I've actually honestly never been a cyclist. I've never got comfortable on a bike, mate. I always a bit my bony ass. So so I've only ever done the running, mate, which, is and you think about cycling, so much more fun. You get so much more return on your investment. But no, so I don't do the tries, bud.
Okay.
Right, well, let's get the plug out of the way.
I've got Boston coming up next year, lads.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, okay. Good on you, mate.
Ah, good stuff. Hey, let's get the plug out of the way. How's the restaurant businest on the sunny coast going?
Dynamite, Paddy.
Oh, that's what we'd love to hear.
Yeah, it's going really well. COVID's changed the holidaying landscape for people. Mooloolaba, and I think you'll find a lot of places on the eastern seaboard of Australia are the same. We're just chockers, and there's people walking around the streets of Mooloolaba. It doesn't matter whether it's Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday. It's just heating, which is great for our business. We've also had a change of our workforce because we've lost the backpackers and 457s. Jello's has got 44 staff, but instead of having 40 adults and 4 juniors, I've now got 24 kids that work for me. So I've had to do a McDonald's and train my own staff, which has been adventurous, but it's been a great journey, and that's probably where in the hospitality world the workforce is going to go that way, where we have to train our own because we're not sure when the backpackers and 457s are coming back.
No, that's right. And your chefs, they are very important to you, to that business, hey?
Oh, they're gold, mate, Heels. Without them, our business stops, and we've been lucky. We've got our 3 senior chefs have been there over 20 years, so they're part of the furniture. But that's what you got to do. You look after them. But the HR department of hospitality is certainly under pressure, so you got to try and create your own.
Yeah, I think you're overdoing a little bit with your junior staff when they put a meal down, Queenslander, and surprise a few people, mate.
All right, let's get serious. Let's talk about, not that your business isn't serious, but we're pleased that it's going so well, mate. Oz v New Zealand Saturday morning. Now, you probably don't, I don't know whether you've heard this, but we mentioned it earlier in the show. The World Cup organisers, in their wisdom, have had to make flight bookings in advance to probably take advantage of some cheaper fares, etc. They've booked New Zealand out after the semi-final home. You reckon that's not going to fire the Kiwis up?
Are those tickets transferable?
Yeah, they are. I'll check into that. It's going to cost them $10,000 to transfer the tickets.
So it's either transferable to Australia or Samoa. They might get halfway home.
Yeah. Look, it whets the appetite, that clash, doesn't it? When you look at it on paper, there's superstar up against superstar. The battles, of the ones, Manu versus Tedesco. You just go, Brandon Smith versus Harry Grant, teammates. Obviously, they're looking to try and get one up on each other. I can't wait. But as always, it comes down to winning the middle, and then obviously your spine. My little concern, boys, is this might sound a bit strange. New Zealand almost have too many big guys in the middle. They're on the bench as well. They've got so many great, muscle men like alpha males in there. Who do you play? And the rotations. That's where I think Maguire could get himself a little bit stuck, because Australia's obviously had to go for a much more mobile, fast-moving pack, which I think will stand them in good stead if they can hold New Zealand and basically absorb the initial punishment. That mobile pack, I think, will come to haunt New Zealand. So the rotations that Maguire uses on the bench is going to be very pivotal.
Well, he's made one decision, Billy. I don't know whether you've caught up with this. He's left Warira Hargraves out of his 19. So whether that's hammy-related or whether that's discipline-related, not sure. But the Penrith prop, Moses Leota, comes back in after some injury worries during the tournament.
I like it. Look, Joe Hargreaves has been a great player, but I just think he's half a yard too slow, and he's just as likely to put the arm out, maybe give a penalty here and there. And I think they've got enough, as I said, alpha males without him. They're almost chock-loaded. And when you bring in Nelson or Sofa Solomon, I think he's either going to play 13 or off the bench. For me, boys, Fisher Harris, he is probably the best alpha male
Yep.
middle in the game right now, and
Agreed.
I think you don't need another one. Just let him do his job, and the rotations around that. So I can subscribe to that theory.
Have these alpha males got the ability to razzle dazzle as well, or is it just going to be hard physical stuff and then hope the backs get a job done?
I think for New Zealand, that's a great question, Heels. I think for New Zealand, they don't want to overcomplicate it. They really want to win the middle. And if I was them, I would be aiming everything, at the Australian middles. Regan Campbell-Gillard, good player, but mate, with all due respect, remember the grand final?
Yeah.
Went missing. If I was New Zealand and I was Fisher Harris, I'd be going, mate, I got you in the GF, I'm going to get you again. Because if you can get to him, if you can stop the go forward of Australia, you then have gotten Cleary having to play off the back foot, which he doesn't do very often. And that will make the Australian role a lot more difficult. You will really then be able to put pressure around the ruck on Harry Grant, who's a superstar of the highest level, and Tedesco. If you can control the ruck and stop Australia walking down the park, all of a sudden New Zealand can then do what obviously the flight bookings don't present an opportunity for New Zealand to beat Australia.
Hey, do you take anything out of the quarters? I mean, Australia just waltzed through this scoring at will, whereas, Fiji put New Zealand under genuine pressure, and with a little bit of luck going their way late and a couple of better decision-making calls, they could have easily beaten them.
Oh, without a doubt, Paddy. You can see the improvement, because if you go back to the previous World Cup, I think Australia won the semi-final against Fiji by 40-odd points. So the Fijians have got better, and obviously Coruscant, that number 9 was magnificent. And you're right, they were very unlucky. There was that stripping penalty, which was 50-50.
Yeah.
And you could just see at the critical moments, under the pressure, they made a few bad decisions when they were on attack, and their fifth tackle options were poor. But they'll learn from that. Australia has done it comfortably. And look, it represents, this is a theory, and I'll throw it to you guys, is it better to have your bad game for New Zealand where everyone's going, they're off the boil, they can't win it. They've almost had it there, so will they rise up off the back of that into the semi? Australia has cruised, but I think they made about 14 errors in the last game against Lebanon and still made it easy. But I just think Australia can be beaten in the middle if New Zealand play the right game and get their rotations right. But I thought Brandon Smith wasn't great in that game against Fiji, boys, and he's a fantastic player. If he has a big one, and Dylan Brown has a big one, because I just know that Manu will play well. The 7's world class. Yeah. The 6 and the 9 have to rise for New Zealand. If they do, then they will mount a very big case if they're playing off the front foot.
Yeah, enough about New Zealand, mate. Australia, they're better than that. We're going to blitz them.
Mate, without a doubt, we go as favourites, and we should be. And look, I'm obviously very, very confident we can win. And look, the combination between Cleary and Munster, that doesn't matter. Look, DCE's been a magnificent player, and I think 2020 and 2022 captain in Queensland were some of his finest hours, and he deserves his starting spot. He had a crack at the number 7 jersey, but obviously Father Time has given Cleary the chance, and this is his moment. Obviously, if Australia get beat, well, Cleary's position at the 7 jersey will be very, very be under pressure. So we'll see what happens there. But look, guys, I'll tell you, player crush. Harry Grant is one of the greatest 9s I've ever seen. He has the smarts of Smith. He has the speed of Damien Cook. And it's all wrapped up in this package of a young player who's only going to get better and better. I just watch this space. He is immortal in waiting, and that's a long way down the path. But I just think this guy is, for Melbourne, you go from Cameron Smith, you're going to brush Brandon Smith, bring this Harry Grant. You think, well, how good's Harry Grant? Well, this guy is unbelievable. He'll get man of the match, and he's the one that could win the game for Australia.
That's a crush already. That definitely is a crush, mate. Who do you reckon the winner of the Anzac Clash will be playing? Samoa v England.
Look, that should be a cracker. How good was that Tonga Samoa game? We talked about, Paddy, the quarters were a bit iffy, but mate, what a cracking game between the two Pacific powerhouses. And you look at the names and you think the pipeline that's coming through, that those Pacific nations are going to be strong forever, really, the way it looks at that. Samoa, it presents like a bit of a danger game to think, was it 3 weeks ago they got beat 60-6 by England, and now they're meeting them again. So if you're the English players, you're going, oh, well, we should towel these blokes up, but how often do you see it swing, it bounces back the other way? Look, England have been outstanding. They've probably been the form side of the tournament. They've been strong at all times. Their defence is what's been impressive for me. Victor Radley, the Englishman from Bondi has been fantastic. And look, I just think he's been a welcome inclusion there. But, the Burgess, all those guys, Bateman, have been strong, but I've really enjoyed watching what their spine's done. And George Williams, the 7, obviously he was at the Raiders. What a loss now when you think back to the Raiders. You put him back in that team the last 24 months. You can see why Ricky did not want to let him go. He's a very, very good player. He's world class.
Okay. He must be just happy again.
Yeah, I think they're going to be two beauties. But we're really looking forward to it, and they'll take that slur from the World Cup organisers and use it as ammo. There's no doubt about that.
I can't believe they booked those tickets. That's amazing. So, you're right. It'll pop them up.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, great to chat as always. Good to see you the other day at the Melbourne Cup, and it's great to hear that life's going well on the Sunshine Coast for you, mate.
Mate, absolute pleasure. Great to chat to you, lads. You're two of my favourite people in the media. I love listening to your program. And if you ever get a chance, come to Mooloolaba or Jello's. Drop in. I promise I won't cook. You'll be safe.
Good on you, Billy.
Look forward to it. Billy Moore joining there, Queensland legend, former Kangaroo. He's been there, done that, and he has a wonderful insight into the game. I love listening to his thoughts about the game.